a couple of minutes. Ah, God, what a powerful day.
I know, right in these full moon energies.
I don't know, man. It's just like one after the other, right? It's just, it never stops, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the intro real quick and allow people time to come in. Nobody's in yet.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
give it a little time. Be right back.
Okay.
As we get into our fourth hour of programming today, we got Robbie Watson in the house. I've never met him before, and that's the way we like it. We just get to know each other in front of everybody. Somebody had recommended you to me about 10 days ago, and then I think I reached out, and you're like, no, I'm not ready, which I hear a lot of when I approach people sometimes. And then you wrote back and said, I kind of checked in. I'm supposed to go on. It's time, which is another thing that you're hearing a lot, particularly because they've been leading the way from women. But recently, there's been quite a few males stepping up with the same energy that these women exhibit, which has been, I'm kind of in the background. I woke up. I don't know your story yet, but I mean, I woke up and this whole new world wakes up, and I'm getting familiar with my role. And somebody approaches you and say, you want to talk about it? And you're like, no. And then there's these hands on your back that are pushing you to get out and share. And that's pretty much what you said to me, I think, right? Did I leave anything out?
No, that was pretty much it. I had a really close friend who is a divine feminine in my life. And I expressed to her about how people were requesting me to be on the show, people messaging me. And I had to think about my intention, and she helped me, perceive that, which was to just share my presence. My presence and what I do is the code. It is the gift. It is the mirror, the sacred reflection. And I just need to step my foot out and make the divine choice through my will to do that for myself and everyone else around me.
Yeah. It's like liberation embodied.
Yes, right? In the forefront, like
transparency, right?
Yeah.
Liberation, transparency. It's past vulnerability. It's past embarrassment.
Yeah.
And you step out there, and you're right. It's just the mirror. It's more, but I mean, enough of it is, or it's stated in completion, in that whole weird thing, paradox. The minute you step into it, like the minute you step into the center, then like you said, your presence is felt and everything else is gravy.
Yes. Everything else is gravy. Expectations drops. You're just in pure embodiment of what and who we are.
So what happened to you? Did you have a typical reawakening? Like a lot of people come on and they, at some, in some form or fashion, they all say, I've been connected since I was young.
Yeah.
It kind of went away. It came back on around 2012 for a lot of them, but not all of them. And there was either a series of traumas, or there was a accident, or a separation, or something happened to serve as a catalyst, or some things happened to serve as catalyst.
Yeah.
How did yours go?
Well, this awakening process really began for me about in 2018. And around 2017, I entered the dark night of my soul head first. And I started smoking methamphetamine. And that immediately put myself in a position to witness the divine, you know. And so that's what I did. I was in the midst of my addiction right in the beginning. And I remember experiencing some physical pain from not having it, withdrawal. And that intrigued me because I was already kind of cognizant that we were able to heal ourselves. We were able to heal ourselves. I didn't know how to at all, but I knew that we had the power. And I was experiencing this physical pain, and I didn't want to feel that. I remember not wanting to feel that. I remember feeling powerless. And all of a sudden, I said, Om. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what is Om? I'm like, what is that? And I got on YouTube, and I'm sitting there, and I look up, what is the sound of Om? It is the sound of the universe. All sounds are within it. A-U-M. A is creating energy, U is sustaining energy, and M is destructive energy. All things are Om. A tree is Om. It creates itself, it sustains itself, it destroys itself. Even when a baby begins to speak, the sounds that it's producing first is ah, ah, ooh, ooh, and usually ma. So I was witnessing all of this in this moment of sitting. And then I saw this video of this father use the sound of Om to help his crying baby go back to sleep. And instantly I guess I was programmed with the awareness of this sound and what it could do for me. And I put my phone down, and I got up, and I did the sound with all my might. And I swear to God, in 15 minutes, every single thing in my body was healed. My rotator cuffs were tearing. I didn't even feel like I had smoked meth ever in my life. I felt like I was completely reborn. I fell to my knees and laughed hysterically because I knew I just discovered something that was going to change my life. Wow. And I then was faced with a choice, and I'm very, very grateful for my awareness of this path. I was given a choice to either go down the harder road and get to where I needed to be quicker, or choose the less harder route. And I chose the harder route. So the next couple years, I really spent initiating myself, causing myself suffering. I mean, literally losing everyone that I loved in my life. None of them could be there for it. They had to detach from me.
Right.
Because in the space, like I said, I was grateful for my wisdom because I knew what I was doing. And of course, in the moment, everyone around me, they're like, okay, no, you're just twacked. You know what I mean? You think you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But there was a piece of me that did.
Yeah. And
so the next 2 years of my life, up until 2000, I guess times are so tricky.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
You know what I mean? But in 2018 is when my brother, bless his soul, he put 10 hits of acid in my mouth.
What?
And
10 hits?
Blew my mind open. It blew my mind open. And I was just getting to the point to where I was realizing that the methamphetamine was no longer being a catalyst for me to transcend.
Right.
And so I didn't know it was 10 hits of acid. I didn't really agree to it, but I just trusted the process. And I know that experience completely recalibrated my brain. And I started, like I said, I was using the sound of Om. I wasn't using light language or anything. In 2018, I found Keepers of the Codes. and I found my soul family, and my life has been changed ever since then. It's 2021, and the codes that I'm creating, I never expected to be doing something like that in my life. You know, I am a shaman. I hold the space between the unconscious and the conscious self. And, you know, once I realized I was a shaman, it was the first time my whole life made sense to me, you know, but still I'm in this 2-year like infant stage, I feel, you know, because I'm 29 years old. I feel for 28 years of my life, I was just living in an illusion. I was just, like basically who I was just what I created to help survive, you know, which was these characteristics, this identity, you know, and then now it's like who I truly am is stepping forward, purifying who I am not.
Yeah.
And
that's a great synopsis. And God, there's so many things too. You're 29 years old.
yeah.
So there's more, as time goes on, there's more masculine representation. There's more people that are younger than 30.
Yes.
You know, because it used to be 35 to 55, 45 to 55 is still the biggest demographic in these communities, but there's more and more 25 to 35.
Yes.
Or 25 to 45 even. But and then these young people, and I'm talking young people from infants to 29, 33, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, there's got to be something going on there, because one of the things that I've noticed is the young people that come on, one, they have come on quick. B, they kind of, not all of them, but they kind of communicate with like a singular voice. They don't tend to have the multiple faces of the universe, the guides, so to speak, that a lot of the older people do. How's it been for you? Do you have certain essences you work with? Or,
you know, for a while I was out of touch with them. The way that I see them is that they are an extension of me.
Yeah.
And I am the bridge. I am the catalyst for that essence to move through me. So, you know, it's the essences that I work with. I don't really connect to their identity, who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what their presence is meant to do for me. It's what we are supposed to weave together and co-create.
Yeah.
That is truly what I do with them. But you know,
that feels like the same thing I was talking about. Do you now, when you are connecting to the whatever particular aspect or aspects they're going to help you in a given moment or in a session or whatever the case is, how does that happen? Does it just happen intuitively and naturally and organically?
Yeah. Yes, it just becomes, yes, it is just organically intuitive. You know, I like I said, I'm a shaman. And once I realized I was a shaman, I then realized that I was in ceremony at all times.
Yeah.
So for me, I am ceremony. So I just create the space with my voice. I sing, I use light language, and the energy just moves to it. It flocks to it. And it wants to mold with it and create with it. So it can truly be spontaneous, you know, what comes through, but with specific intentions, you know, every time it's just right there. It's wanting to connect. It's waiting.
Yeah.
You know.
So do you have to go looking for it, or does it just come in, like you said, spontaneously, not just in the session, but like just in your life?
I think it varies. You know, sometimes when I go looking for it, it's just to remind me that it's already within me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
yeah. I mean, like looking at like consciously seeking, like if you're in a session, maybe it's a situation where you go, okay, I see what I'm seeing. Let's bring it into alignment. I'm going to reach into that part of me that will.
It starts off like as a vision in my imagination.
Mm.
And for a long time, I thought it was just my imagination. I wasn't realizing that I was claircognizant. I wasn't realizing that I could just suddenly have the messages come through me, because I just hold the space. So it depends on the individual. What needs to come through, I will embody. I will connect to whatever guide or whatever energy essence that needs to come through for them, and I can hold that space for multiple people at the same time, and they will each be having something individually happen for them, which is why I like going live.
You do a lot of lives?
I don't do a lot of lives. I do them sporadically. You know, I know that I'm moving into a position to provide that consistency, especially with creating the codes while I'm live. It's so important to put ourselves in that space of presence in the now, and to weave it into form in the now. It's how we create. It's how that's how we create the resonance that evolves consciousness.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to put myself, right now, these last couple of years is all about purification and initiation, and me witnessing what I'm going to do for the world. And it's daunting. I've been shown what I'm supposed to do for the world. I know, I feel I know who I am in this universe. And I think knowing that and trusting that puts me in that position to embody what I need to do for the world.
Yeah.
But it starts there.
Yeah. No, that's right on point. I mean, I've always felt, or at least understood for myself, and then when I observe other people, I don't see how it could be any different.
Right.
And that is, whatever we receive is meant for us first.
Right.
And it seems like in 2021, especially since Soulogy Fest, so that's a month ago. It's like, how do I put this? Many people, including myself, have the same type of feeling that we're here to serve. That's part of it. That's like an equal part of it, serving ourselves, serving our brothers and sisters, serving humanity. And I start to wonder these last 2 or 3 weeks through this phase of the purging and the purification, am I just to focus on that within myself, and then it happens automatically? Kind of thing.
I think so. I think that is what happens.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole purpose of unity. That's the whole purpose of forging that space. We are pioneering this energy between each other. Yeah. It's never happened before.
I agree. Okay, I agree. And you said something, I just want to go back to it because I guess I'm being instructed. Okay. So no, just kind of see this from an energetic standpoint. That little phrase, speak that shift into existence. So like when you're talking about expressing the code in the physicality, the first place it happens is in the invisibility of our physicality, which is the voice, resonance, tone, sound. You can't see it, touch it. You know what I mean? And then it starts to materialize in form.
Yes.
That is something you're able to see and feel, right? Yeah. And so, because I've been getting this has been coming in like the same time period, which is the difference here between other planetary experiences is first the level of free will, and second is the expanse of polarity, and third is the other part of it, that after the equal sign. You know, Akashic plus Earth experience equals what? Well, it equals a physical matter replication of what happens inside of us. And let's just take something, for instance, I'm in a relationship. People talk about twin flames and divine unions, and I'm not worried about all the labels. But what I do see is at least the potential, based on these last 2 or 3 weeks of understanding, which I'm sure it's not just me, of the actual physical perfect replication of what has happened inside, say in sacred union and divine union within myself.
Yeah.
Now, there's many other examples of that. You could say Christ consciousness,
Yes.
the physicality of Christ consciousness. But the thing is, happening in ourselves on a physical level is one thing, but when it's happened and there's two or more in the physicality, I think that's how I feel what you're saying. That's never happened before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And this is how we transcend what our ancestors were experiencing. This is how essentially we close the doors to our Akashic fields and we start anew. We start this new galactic cosmic timeline that I feel is woven through a prime timeline that the whole solar system is working off of. And I feel that those experiences are weaving into that timeline.
yeah.
You know, there is something about being human and God that evolves source, that evolves consciousness.
Yeah.
There is no other planet that has ever been experiencing this level of transcendence while it's populated. It's never happened before.
Yeah. I totally resonate with this. The code that we're producing now, or we're getting close. So it's almost like, you know, all of those other timelines and what we call the past and all that stuff were two, you know, on one hand, they were splintered away from us. They separated away from us because they were traumatic. And, you know, and this is where the whole division begins is, you know, I'm looking at you and you're not me. Prejudice, biases, whatever the case is. And so when people say timelines are collapsing, I'm more aligned with what you're saying, which is they're actually being threaded into this common one true timeline, and they're no longer something separate from us. They're actually creating a stronger experience of this timeline in all non-physical and physical by bringing it into ourselves. You know, by bringing it back to us and owning it. So now it's more like stored knowledge. And then you wipe the slate clean and we're building a new life, a new earth, a new solar system, new universe.
And then people like you and I who are aware of this, we become the pinnacle point. We become the state of anchoring of this truth, and people come to us to experience this, to witness for themselves what they need to do consciously for themselves. And it's just simply us being who we are.
That's right. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, you know, I like a lot of people my age. I'm 59. So, you know, I started to come into awareness in the late 60s, which was a very, very powerful period, you know, with all the revolutions and all that stuff. And, you know, so in my, you know, early 20s, I started reading voraciously, and it's so complicated. Like there's all these philosophies and religions and modalities and processes and disciplines. And then you get to the end of it, and it's just like the metaphor of what we just talked about. Everything gets wiped away clean, and you're standing there going, wait a minute, all I got is this? That's all I need, right? Now, how do you go into an expansive mode? Because I don't think we came here just to be aware. Oh, I'm God in the flesh. Wow, that's great. Cool. I get it. Oneness, unity.
Right.
But it's not. It's actually, to me, God is, or goddess, or source, whatever you want to call it, is actually what it's the energetics of what we do once we get to awareness. And we combine that Akashic with the experiential. And then the equal sign is God. And we are literally living embodiments, living in the flesh, you know, and this is awesome. Actually.
The separation dissolves. You know, and it just takes the individual like one moment to trust where they're being taken.
Yeah.
You know, because all we're doing is leading you back to yourself.
Yeah. It's like the universe is reconnecting.
It is. It's a reunification of a species.
Yeah. And of course, because of the micro, macro, within, without, it affects everything. So this is where you go back to the one original timeline. There's only one original timeline.
Right.
Right. And so all of these splintering offs, as detrimental as we might have thought they were to our existence, were actually the gold. It's actually the gold.
Yeah.
It's like the more splintered we became and the further we went out.
Yes.
Like you could even say it like the degrees of depth that I took in my deep dive, my dark nights of the soul, is equivalent to the expansion I will experience.
Exactly, brother.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's like I say, we are the pioneers of this. So so we are stepping farther than we've ever stepped before, and that is how we co-create this energy field that's never been experienced. Like right now, we speaking, us breathing together, everybody watching. This is it. This is the literal form of consciousness evolving before your eyes.
In the physical.
In the physical, from the formless to the form.
And it's not exactly to me like, oh, we need to be at oneness and we need to work together. I'm not saying that we don't.
Right.
What I'm saying is it's not the destination. It's actually the journey of the trajectory. Yeah, it's the trajectory. Because look, there's no manual for this. We've been handed templates, sacred wisdom, and that's not the end of it. We already had that.
Right.
So now we're getting to the point of the equal sign. You could see the equal sign as the 0 point field as you go like a tuba. You know, you come from this wide expanse, it gets down to the 0 point, the equal sign, and now we're coming out the other side. And it's mind-blowing because of the physicality. And I keep going back to this. So we had a show like 3-4 days ago with Amanda Smith. She comes on, meets me in the studio, and she starts, her voice is like screwed up.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Okay, so immediately I heard push to live, and I thought, oh, okay, I guess here we go. What did you just say a minute ago? To go where we're led to go, right? And are you going to give it credence? And so as I'm having it, if you watch it, I said, look, I'm just understanding that we're supposed to go with this, and this is a metaphor for a physical metaphor that we can see of what is happening, what the potential is, and how far this can go. So all these people attached to that, just as they would have attached to programming, right? And so here we go with this wide open, unencumbered, nobody infringes, everybody's in their own lane in this collective body.
Yes, it causes everyone to weave their perceptions into oneness. Because nobody really knows what they're looking at.
No.
You know, and when you do that and you trust that that's okay, then what it truly is shows itself to you. It meets you in the middle. Of this realm.
It's crazy. It's crazy because it's all being brought back to a beautiful, infinite simplicity. It's like a big cosmic joke, you know. Like you falling on the knees and laughing. I mean, how many times have you had an expansion and you're laughing and crying?
That's so funny. I was at a festival last week, Free Connection Festival, and I was having a conversation with this guy. He was an artist, and I was like, "Okay, you're cool, you know, like, you know, good, have a good show." And he says, and I think he says, "Life's a joke." I was like, "You think life's a joke?" He goes, "No, I think your life's a joke." And you just said, you know, it's just one big cosmic joke. It really is. You know,
that's that shamanic sense of humor.
Yeah, I was like, I programmed him to say that. I was like,
well, I mean, you know, you're always getting challenged by that type of energy, the shamanic type of energy within ourselves. We, you know, it will laugh at you. It's a trickster. You know, I've had quite a few experiences with Anubis, which carries that kind of energy, and it was huge in end of May, early June, and it's all about you know, getting past that, or getting into that alignment with that field of consciousness, which can laugh and cry. You know, it can do, everything's possible. The darkest of the dark, the lightest of the light, both of them teach you, you know, it's just
pushing us to release who we are not, who we think we are. You know, and it causes us to break that barrier of our own perceptions.
Yeah,
You know,
and to break our hearts open. Yeah.
break the mirror and pick up the piece of glass and stab our hearts with it.
When's the last time you were? When's the last time you were crying? Like, do you have any of that happen anymore? Like this, where stuff comes in and I'm not saying it lasts a long time, but
I had a ceremony a couple weeks ago, and I was working deeply with psilocybin with my good friend Whitney, and I was coming to the realization that my truth sets people free. My truth sets my mom free. And there was this deep awareness that came over me, and I cried so hard. It was the hardest cry I've had in a long time. And it was like the oneness was recognizing that its truth set it free. It wasn't that Robbie was realizing it. It was that the oneness within me, that the nameless presence of consciousness was becoming aware that my truth, that its truth sets it free. Whoo, I got chills on my legs.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, if you think about it, you come to this awareness of, at some point, of wow, it's like the ripple effect, right? Like people have a near-death experience and they're shown their life review, and a lot of people will remark on the ripples. They had no idea how far they're frequent. Okay. And so we start to realize, oh, we've been unconscious creators. Right. That's in the process of finding out, oh, I'm not that, and I'm not that, and I'm not that. And then you're standing there again, buck naked to the soul, right? And you're going, wait a minute. That means if I was an unconscious creator, now I can be a conscious creator.
Right.
And that's the reverence, right? You're like, holy crap. So the biggest fear isn't fear of the Illuminati and fear of this and fear of that. It's fear of your own power.
Yes, it is.
That's it. I mean, you're like, whoa. I mean, am I really, really going to walk the talk? And I feel like 2021 is all about walking the talk.
Yes, it is. It certainly has been for me. I've had to really step into my power and to, I had the amazing opportunity to work with Ayahuasca twice last year. And, I went there and I received exactly what I was looking for, and I'm still working with her. And it is walking the talk. It's walking the talk. And, like I said, I have 28 years of just being, an aspect of myself that wasn't truly who I am.
Yeah.
And it's definitely daunting, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm physically surrounded still by my 28 years of illusion. I feel like I'm physically still surrounded by it.
Yeah, that's deep.
It's intense.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. For me, there's been like, again, and this, as the individual goes, so goes the collective. Like a lot of the things that you're saying, it may not be the same, but the energy is the same of what I've. So one of those things is revisiting things over this last 2-3 weeks. Things that were like, I guess, still separate from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I acknowledged them. I went through a process in my head, let's just say years back, of pulling that person up or pulling that event up and embracing it. But this was different. This was where they came up and my whole entire body, my entire cellular system, every cell, every atomic particle felt that experience.
Yes, you were revisiting the experience that caused you the separation.
Exactly. But in a way I never had, because you hear people say, oh, why is that back? Why is that back? This was the first time that I actually I literally, not from a visual standpoint, but from a body standpoint, I relived it. And then what reliving is not even the word. It's like realigned with it. So you think when you talk about alignment, I need to align with Christ consciousness. I need to align with this, with that. But yeah, also the parts that the human perspective saw as separate from itself and ugly.
Yeah.
It did a lot for me.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you're able to do that. You're able to access that the way that you are now because of this present moment and you catalyzing who you are. You know, this is your power evolving in the moment, you know, and it's really just the beginning. You know, if you're able to access that for yourself in those moments, just I mean, then you'll be able to do that for any experience in your life. And that's what we're really doing. This is what this year is all about. It's about stepping back into the moments where we created the trauma for ourselves, and allowing it to be, and not having shame or guilt for it, and then letting it go. I've been doing the same thing going back to 2018. I've even been seeing like physical people in my reality from those moments, from those times, like people I used to smoke meth with were literally just in my reality like 2 days ago. They didn't even know I was there, but I saw them.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that a metaphoric representation in the physicality?
Yeah, it is.
That's trippy. So I just did a show with a couple of my sisters, and one of them was, because I told her, I said, there's this interdimensional portal on this property I live on. And I've been aware of it since I came, and it started speaking to me when I was in Sedona and when I was on my way back. I thought, what, my point is she said to me, you created that portal.
Yes.
And I'm like, come again? And so she went on to explain in her own way that we externalize that which is within us. And then it goes along with what I was saying. Like, I look at it particularly with Morgan, because I'm looking that way. We have the potential and the opportunity to actually physicalize two separate fractals, what has occurred within us in this very unique Earth experience. So I look at that, and then I'm listening to you thinking in regard to the service part and how that intel is for me, and then I can share it, right? But I'm thinking about that, and maybe that's the same thing as this portal. Yeah. Maybe our work, as we call it as humans, our mission, our purpose, our understanding is that's what we're doing. We're externalizing it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, your work is becoming an external, and it will take on a physicality to more degrees.
Yes.
That feels right.
And then, as we do that, everyone who comes into contact with it more or less has the capacity to help grow and expand. Because that's really what it's about for me. It's about realizing this and then creating a bridge, a foundation for others to co-create with it. Yeah. I don't want to just do it by myself. You know what I mean? I mean, knowing that I can do it is for myself, but truly it's about co-creating it. It's about someone else having that experience and being able to perceive it at the same time. Yeah.
And then remix it.
That's
what it's all about. That's how the universe runs, on a remix. That's how I see it. And you're right. I mean, it's like, so I mean, we're always, so like right now, you and I, and there's actually a lot more than that, right? But I mean, you and I are exchanging code. Yes. So now we're also getting to this point where information's moving faster, therefore everything's moving faster, because we're quantum creators. So our thoughts, which are moving faster, are creating faster. And what's going on is it's becoming almost by like a cosmic osmosis.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like we could look in each other's eyes, hold that space in silence, and we may not get it all today, but it's all there. And it will come on board. It will be there because it's on board when we need it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And this is why we're here talking. This is so important for us to physically be aware of each other and to consciously understand how each other almost thinks, so that we can create, because when we come together, it works off of that timeline that we were talking about. Yeah. And we're just creating more capacity to withhold it.
It's an on that timeline.
It is.
There's, I would imagine, infinite ohms, frequencies, or whatever you want to call it. And so that you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Far out.
I know. Very
far out. So now you said you do light language. I'm not,
Yes.
I just, if you want to do anything.
I would love to.
Okay. I'm not trying to, but if you want to do anything, I say go for it.
Sounds good.
I'm going to kill my mic.
Okay. Na 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 yeah. Yes, mama, hey, na 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 ya yo, hey, essa makue amai, hey, essa makura manu amaya, hey, essa makue amayo anaya manura manaya, essa rotareki. Mondrorakum akatakarakin, chatakarakun, yetakarakan, vrutarakan, etchakarakun ikamama, hesamakuatarakan, ukuatakarakan, ukamawatake, endoraka, vitorakan harianatakarasamu, emma sotorakan hahena, chachakahiana sukumamaha, mandoraka genera, Untorakatanina, Okuamakueka makatakasina, Utoratan etakrakan sukama. Suyama torakan, etakrashan toraka, vitarakan otakrakan sukama, brutarate nianakama sukama, brutkashina taka rotaka, torak un etakaran otakaran, toratkeri sinatarakan, tora mama hey hey unifying the presence of the field. Nameless identity. It's just empty intelligence.
So, but God, that was, I've obviously doing almost 3,000 shows. I've heard a lot of light language, and it, you know, and I've heard people make comments both ways about it. And as I'm listening to you and then just reflecting on the conversation I had with the girls this morning, then what we were talking about, how whatever we're experiencing at a minimum is becoming more and more a part of our physical reality.
Yes.
First, it might be a sound,
Yes,
but it comes from, let's just say, that person, that mirror, me, you. And to me, it's not about, is that Arcturian, is that elemental? It's you.
right.
It's you, and what attracts me to, or what makes resonant for me when I hear something is how would you put this? How far is he or she letting go?
Mm-hmm.
How much have they pushed past embarrassment, shame, blame, self-consciousness, all those layers, right? And it's like you actually see people do it in a song, or they'll do it in a, you know, like you I asked you the question, I could feel your spirit, it was ready, boom, I'm made for this, let's go, boom. So you obviously have removed all this stuff, and you're able to enter that field. I've seen people do it, like Shakina Rose, harmonic light language.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I'm saying is, it's the purity of the expression, no matter what the sound is to me.
Yes.
It's I am soul. That's what it is. That's what I call it.
That is what it is.
But it was, yeah, Zana's right. That was incredible light language.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Or whatever you call it.
Through embodiment of my soul, exactly what you called it.
Yeah.
It is.
What was, what is, and what will always be.
Indeed.
And the crazy thing is we get to be on this playground, which is the greatest reality show in the universe, as I understand it.
Yes.
There's souls, billions and billions and billions of souls lined up to come here.
Yes.
And I'm sure it will be an even better and better playground, but we were here as the boots on the ground, grinding it out and doing it.
Yes.
And that will always be a special part of my soul lineage.
Yeah. And absolutely, you know, I'm so blessed to be able to do that, and to also be able to do my codes, you know, because I'm doing this every day of my life, all day of my life. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
So you're one of the crazy people. So just so you know, everybody in this community's, I can pretty much say, are in the same boat. And this has become a lifestyle. And the level of collaboration and co-creation has gotten to the point now where the community aspect is starting to come in, which is absolutely, like everything else, mind-blowing, because the math on this side of that equal sign is not like the old math. It's just not even close, right?
I'm very grateful to have people in my life who I can have these same conversations with.
Very cool. Yeah.
You know, I'm very, very blessed.
See, I feel that level of experience or accessible consciousness is a lot bigger than we all think.
Yes.
You know, I mean, people say they're not awake. People talk about the 144, but I'm not saying none of it. I respect everybody's reality. Everything has got some truth to it somewhere or another, depending on where you're standing. But I don't know. I mean, if there are billions and billions and billions and billions of souls lined up to come here, what does that say about the ones that are here?
That we created everyone else.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I do. I do.
This is a special place.
Yes, it is. It's
everything. Yeah. And then there's that whole paradoxical quality. I've been trying to like put words to it. It's the polarity that includes the paradox, because a paradox includes polarity.
Yes.
And the paradox itself, in some way I can't explain, is the 0 point field.
Yes.
When you can zero because they're both true.
Yes.
Not only are they the same, but they're both true.
Yes. Outside of the 0 point field is just our other aspects trying to get to the oneness.
Yeah.
So that's how evolution accelerates, is by being in that zero field and allowing, you know, those aspects to weave into experience.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily into knowing, but experience.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. To me, that's what the goddess is.
Yes.
It's this.
Yes, this is it.
It's this right here.
Yes.
This is virgin territory. Now, is it made up of elements of our soul lineage and human incarnation lineage? Absolutely.
Yes.
But there's a remix, right? Yeah. There's a remix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is the new code.
Yes, we are birthing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the only way. This is the only way the code happens.
Right. Yeah.
This is the only way.
So I remember when I was on the streets 10 years ago, when I first woke up, and one of the conversations I had with the universe started out with this. It said, just understand that everything you've ever done in your life. Now, at this point, I'm only thinking Todd Medina, right? Mm-hmm. And that's enough for quite a few lives at this point in my life. There was a lot of blame, shame, the same thing everybody went through, right? And it said, just understand that everything you've ever done will be known by everyone. And I sat with that and I went, holy shiitake mushrooms, man. Like, everyone's going to know I did this, and the list goes on. Mm-hmm. And then the inverse came out. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, wait a minute. If that's the case for me, then that's the case for everyone. And the universe was like, ha, 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 ha. You get it now? So when you're in a situation, I think we've all been there, where the truth is revealed, no matter, and it doesn't matter at that point, was it a consequence of something? Is it a circumstance? It's just what it is. Yes. It's put in front of all your peers or your family or whatever. it's way past the point of embarrassment because you don't even have time to be embarrassed.
Right.
It's like, okay, you know, when you're that's when we reach that point, which I guess is full transparency, full telepathy. Think about the weight, so to speak, that's lifted off of our shoulders when we don't have to hide something, and also we know who we are.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you know, I've definitely come across that awareness within myself, and you know, I've asked myself, like, you know, because I think it's important for me as a shaman to hold the space for those who are not there yet. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I have to experience it as if I'm not there yet, even though I have the wisdom within. You know, I have to deal with holding that space, and it's definitely showing me, you know, that which I've never seen before, you know, just what I don't have anything to base off of knowledge or wisdom or anything.
Well, you hear like people, and myself included. I mean, I haven't really read a book in a long time.
Yeah.
Years and years and years.
Yeah.
And at some point, you know, you hear it and you see it and you feel it. It's actually, to me, a signal or a symbol or a sign of our expanding and self-empowerment.
Yes, it's self-mastery, really.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like that too. I haven't read a book in years. I don't read.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I say I used to be, but I'm a writer. You know.
You really? Yeah.
Well, years ago, before I was really aware of who I was, that it was an aspect of myself that was a writer. Yes, for sure. But you know, those aspects of ourselves are waiting to be embodied again. You know.
Well, they're embodied. They're just going, "Hey, I'm in here, over here."
Right.
But a lot of that stuff's coming out. There's a lot of stuff coming out.
Yes.
I mean, there's just. Yeah. But I will say this, and it's been nice to see this, especially over, because I mean, everything was what it was until March of 2020. Mm-hmm. As soon as that suggestion, or however you want to put it, as soon as that overlay was put out there, virus and everything that goes with it, everything started to change. There was a lot of self introspection.
Oh yeah.
And there was just, and we know the dynamics, and so there's something to be said for this, because people are being driven into themselves.
Yeah.
And this seems to be what's happening as far as the unveiling is like what
I feel it's us making them. It's us making them,
of course.
which is us, you know, on the other side of the veil, asking for it unconsciously, you know. And you know, and what's to say about the souls who are leaving the planet?
Yeah.
I have been guided with this wisdom to know that the people who know that they're not going to be able to embody it, they are almost giving up their space and helping from the other side, because there's so much wisdom in the human experience that the extraterrestrials, they don't have, because they haven't been human.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they are assisting so much, so greatly. That's why there's so much death right now in between this, because those who aren't able, you know, to embody it, you know, they have almost more courage than us to let go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, because they're stepping into the unknown.
Yes.
Even if they have an inkling or an intuition or an angel visits them, they still got to pull the plug. Yeah. And really, they're doing what we're doing. They're just doing it in a different way. That's all. It's not like they're not going to ascend. It's not like they're, you know what I mean? So that's but you know, I do feel like, and I really don't like to get into, I think as time goes on, at least for me, and I think others, to be conscious of what we're saying.
Yes.
because there's certain things that we're saying that don't really apply. Like if I say, they won't let me out of the country, I've got some legal issues, I'm working on it, I may not be able to get to Australia to be with Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole bunch of other energy that's come into the surface that supersedes lawless laws and borders and passports, and you know what I mean? Like we're on the cusp of some supernatural things. And I think this year, next year, certainly by the end of 2022, there's a couple of things that are going to happen. The distortion will get louder.
Yes.
You will have more people transitioning. I've talked to some credible people that are pretty, I mean, extremely connected, and people know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
25% might disappear. However that looks, it doesn't have to be by our conventional standards. It could just be lost from our memory.
Yeah.
But the whole point being getting to a point where whoever is embodied has embodied.
Yes.
And think about the field of our physical / non-physical experience as it integrates on this earth. If everybody here can hold
Yes.
the light that it requires, that sounds judgmental, but
I mean, it would. I think what we're really doing is I almost see Earth as like a pre-simulation to a greater state of evolution, which is going to be the omniverse or universal.
yeah.
Whatever. I was just whatever. But the yes, I feel this Earth is really just the beginning process of almost like the properties of ether itself evolving.
Yeah. Yeah. We're one, I don't want to say that, but yeah, it's everywhere. It's flower of life.
Yes.
It's everything. That's why I say too, like we think that, because I was telling Morgan last night, like, you know, one of the big problems we all have is it doesn't move fast enough. And I think that's from our galactic patterns and, you know, experiences or whatever, angelic, whatever it was, soul lineage. Here it's very slow because it is very dense, and so it matches the physicality. But you know, I think the story is going to unfold, and there is going to be an integration of the physical and the non-physical. So it's like we're not going anywhere.
Right.
And so the earth is doing it with us. I mean, anything could happen, but I don't think it's going to be spaceships landing. I think it's going to be, and I'm not saying this literally, but like more energetically, right in front of our face.
Yeah.
Like there could be a portal open up and our inner earth brother and sister souls walk out.
Yeah.
And say, hey, here's more of our history.
Yeah.
You know, we're your grandparents, or, you know, I don't know. I just see it happening certainly in a way that nobody can. Yeah.
That's interesting that you say that like that, because since I've started doing codes, I see that everything is code, not like, you know, binary code, but literally like the shape of my codes, like what are they called? The that pass the electricity, the lightning wires or the wires. I'm sorry, I'm having
like filament or
no. I'm just seeing like the design of the codes, like even in a lamp, you know what I mean? Like the cord going through it, the bulb at the top. You know, everything is in reflection of the codes that I'm creating, you know, and the more that I create them, the more that I'm surrounded by the designs of them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. Like what my friend was saying this morning about externalizing. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So do you have some of the code with you? Is it
I have my tablet right here.
Here, let me I'm going to make the screen just on you.
Okay.
And I'm going to cut my mic and let me get rid of it.
Okay. Yes. So this code that I'm going to show, I created for the collective. I started it 2 months ago. I've shared it on my Facebook. Some of you guys have probably seen it. It is the solstice code. And this code is all about the integration of this higher consciousness that we are embodying. This code is working in the internal framework of our molecular structures. It is activating the dormant regions, the dormant DNA within ourselves. It's bringing the wisdoms of our ancestors to the surface so that we can experience the answers inside of ourselves that help us move past the traumas. This code works with everyone individually, uniquely. That which you receive from it is for you. This is a key. This is a key and a bridge. This is a representation of evolution, of your evolution. So this is one of the codes. I want to show another code that I'm called. So I provide a service that helps weave people's intentions into the code. I have various codes. I have Akashic record codes. I have cord cutting codes. But the most popular service is the personal code. And that allows you to weave your intention, that which you want to receive from the code. And those codes take about 2 to 3 months. They are very much in depth, so much detail. I channel deep messages for them. Here is an example of a personal code for my brother. And his intentions was to embody the light so that he could witness the choices in his life, so that they would bring him to a moment of his transcendence. And really working with someone personally is what I love to do. It allows me to just embody who they are through the code. I'm called to show one more code. This code is very sacred. This is for a very special client in my life who I'm working deeply with. I feel called to show her code here. And just so you can witness the detail and kind of what a personal code involves. Or this is a soul code, forgive me. This is the soul code. So a soul code is a blueprint. It's a blueprint of your divine will. This is her higher aspect at the top. Sacred royal Syrian lineage. Moving into the chambers of her heart. Solar energy and the moon's energies. These are her family crests down here. These represent the ancestors that are working with her now, that connect her to her lineages, that best assist her in her evolutionary state. So yes, I'm so blessed to be able to do this and provide this service for all. I've been very blessed with amazing people who are holding space. I have a 2 to 3 month wait list right now, and it's changing my life completely. You know, I've never in my life made abundance in my life. I've always been poor my whole life, and never in my life have I been able to create something that is truly priceless, really. You know, what I'm able to provide for them, because the whole process is complete embodiment. Like the moment you commission me for the code, the experiences start happening in your life before you ever even see the code. So, and it's different for everyone, and it's a sacred journey. I know that the journeys are just going to get longer and longer. I look forward to that. I know the codes are just going to get bigger and bigger.
That's what I was thinking a minute ago.
Yeah, I want
that last one and I've seen stuff that's similar to what you're doing. That last one you put up, it's like an Akashic, you know, it's so if I'm looking at, let's say, a sister's soul blueprint,
yes,
in the form of what you presented right now,
yes,
I was actually seeing how things work. And basically, and that's what came to my head. I thought, oh, it's going to have to be a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it is. You know, I was given a almost it wasn't really a vision. I literally went there. I went deep into meditation, and all of a sudden I was in a room and I was creating the codes in like an interdimensional room, and with just my hands and my voice. And I put the Stargate in its correct coordinates, and I put the power into it. And when I did that, it sent me back. So it was like, oh, that's what sent me there. I'm sorry. I was creating a code, and then I went into meditation. So it's like I created the code to get me there, to witness it, to receive the information, and then I created the code there to get me back.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels right. I often get like these, God, what is it? It's not a memory. I don't know how to explain it. More like a muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
And it would, I can only, okay, I can describe it like this. Like I'm like propelling myself, or being propelled through the universal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these doorways and portals, and in the navigation, because it's just an endless thing, right? Like an endless possibility. It's almost like a labyrinth, you know, multiple times. There's geometries and equations and numbers and words and light language. There's all these different keys and combinations, and it becomes very fluid and very fast, like, and it's very natural and it's very familiar. And so when you're explaining that, that's what I get. It's like you actually just said what I was experiencing, or what I've experienced a few times, which is you created the code to get to the room.
Yeah.
That ultimately, theoretically, it's entirely possible that you created yourself.
Yeah.
This is your search. This is, and then it begins to extrapolate.
Yes.
So like you get back to the physical, it's also affecting your other incarnations, timelines, dimensions, and then it just goes, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Man,
I live for it every moment. I want more.
Where are you located?
I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I've lived here my whole life.
You're in St. Louis. I'm in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I'm not too far. I'm not too far from you.
No, you're not. I went to a festival in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was a good one.
Yeah, I know some people that live over there. There's one guy I know that would be interesting. You guys connected. A friend of mine, Teddy. He's very interesting. Old Soulogy person. Like I'm going back like 7, 8 years. Yeah, man. We'll have to do this again in 2021.
Absolutely, brother.
I'm really honored and happy that you came on. Now that I know more of the story, but there's so much more to know. So this obviously is a platform to support what you represent and the people that come on here. So this is the place where all the crazy people come. And it's expanding, because because people are coming out.
Yes.
And I'm really big props to you on what you're doing, and I'd love to get together with you again and just thank you very much for coming on and being with us today. I don't know if you want to do anything before we head out. If you want to.
Well, I just want to say thank you to those who are holding space for this moment now. I know a few of my good friends are here, and I'm sure people who have never seen me here before. If you guys are interested in working with me personally, please contact me. I would be honored. I feel that's why I came here. A big reason was to let you know that there are codes there for you, waiting for you. And it would be my honor to help each and every one of you. So thank you, Todd. I appreciate it.
What's the best way to get in touch with you? Just on Facebook?
Yeah. If you go to my post, at the bottom of each caption is my Facebook business page link. But you can just message me on my Facebook. That's where I run everything through. My business page on Facebook is called Vibrational Medicine.
Hang on. Facebook page, Vibrational Medicine. Boom. Okay. That's on all the platforms.
Awesome.
So there's, all 10 platforms. I just put it out there. All right, man. I look forward to collaborating more.
Yes,
and maybe even in the physical.
I have a feeling we will.
Yeah. Maybe even in the physical in September.
All right. Lay that foundation out, Todd.
Yeah. Speak that shift into existence. That's what we're talking about. I love you, brother. Peace out.
Brother, have a great day.